Jai Gurudev, Jai Masters. People are always looking for techniques, asking for techniques. What's the best technique? How do I do this? My experience is, you're going to do techniques. You need to learn to do things, but that's not what it's all about. Don't make the spiritual path be about techniques, because it's not about techniques. It's really very simple. Now, once you get the simplicity of it, you can see what tools you need to help you along the way. But the tools are not the path. They are just aids that can help you. So what is the simplicity of spiritual growth? It's as follows. The inside where you live can either be nice or not nice. Maybe you've noticed. It can be pleasant. You can feel love, joy, enthusiasm, positiveness, self-confidence. That's possible. That these are inner states. They have nothing to do with the outside. They're inner states that you experience. It can also be scared, depressed, self-conscious, embarrassed, ashamed, guilty. There are lots of little fun things, buggies running around in there that are not comfortable. It's just not comfortable. It's as simple as that. You feel those things and they make you feel very uncomfortable. You feel the other things, they make you feel very comfortable. That is the beginning of what's called right understanding. You live inside. Wherever that is, I don't care. I don't care about figuring it out in MRIs and all this stuff. It's fine. They can study that. It's wonderful. Everybody should do their part. But you know you're in there. You don't need an MRI to change colors and flash around. You know when you feel guilty. Doesn't matter whether they figure out what part of the brain shows up when you feel guilty. They will say they do the brain test. Oh, no, you don't feel guilty. No, you don't. You just walk out. I know what I feel. You know what you feel. You know what you're thinking. You've been in it the whole time, haven't you? Okay, it's that simple. You are in there, and there's this thing called your inner state. And it can be nice, it can be not nice, and anywhere's in between. Alpha to omega. Have you noticed? Okay. Next, absolute truth. Let me see if I can figure out which one you like better, nice or not nice. I'll bet you like it when it's nice in there. Did I get it? And I'll bet you don't like it when it feels like there's razor blades going off in there. When it's caustic, very uncomfortable. What do you want to bet that's true, everybody? In the whole world, no matter what language they speak, no one has ever walked the face of the earth. They live in there, and there are different states that go on in there, aren't they? And you like the nice ones, and you don't like the not nice ones. Good. That's a good starting position. So if somebody asks you, what do you want to be with your life? What do you want to do with your life? What do you want to achieve with your life? Why don't you tell the truth? I want to be nice in here. That was pretty easy. Don't tell your parents when they ask you, what are you going to major in? And what's your career? But you can tell me, little secret, my career, I want it to be nice in here. No matter what's going on, I want it to be nice in here. Don't you? I want it to be nice in here. But we're not allowed to say that. For whatever reason, our culture is so messed up that we can't even face the truth, which is, that's what you like. Let's be serious. Some boy or girl comes up and walks in front of you, and it makes you feel nice inside. What do you say about them? I like them. Some person walks up, makes you feel yucky inside. What do you say about them? I don't like them. You're a liar. You either like or don't like the way it made you feel. The truth is you live inside, and the inside can go from alpha to omega, and you like it when it's nice, and you don't like what is not nice. And when you say, I like that picture, I like that kind of music, I like that person, you are not telling the truth. What you are saying is, I like how my inside feels when I'm in the presence of that picture. I like how my inside feels when that kind of music is playing. I like how it makes me feel with that kind of music playing. But you don't say that. You don't say, I like the feeling I get in the presence of that picture or in the presence of that music. You say, I like the music. Right? You don't understand how important that is. That's a big difference. It's not just a word game. Because in one case, you're going to chase the music and hope that it makes you feel that way. That's called worldly. Not a bad, I don't like to use worldly and spiritual as, bad and good things. No, it merely means you think the answer is in the world. You think you need certain music to make you feel good. You think you need around certain people to make you feel okay. You think you need to get married by the time you're 23 years old so you can have a first child when you're 24, but they don't get too old because your back's going to hurt when you get too old. You don't want to have them too late. And your biological clock is ticking. Whoa, you think a lot of things. And what are you thinking? You're thinking what will make me feel good. And what will make me feel bad. And if you think it'll make you feel good, you're going after it. And if you think it'll make you feel bad, you're avoiding it. And that is your entire life. You have just relegated your life to chasing the music that will make you feel good inside, to chasing the house that will make you feel good inside, to chasing the person that will make you feel good inside, to chase the job you think will make you feel good inside. Okay? I don't like the word worldly because it's been used to mean bad, lustful and needy and greedy. I'm not using it for that. I merely mean your attention and your devotion and your commitment is to the outside world because that's how you know how to make it be okay inside. The alternative to that is something so simple it's silly to talk about. But we have to come out to the woods and talk about it, right? Which is what? I like it when it feels good inside. Check. I don't like it when it feels bad inside. Check. Okay, why don't you make it feel good inside? What? Well, what kind of statement is that? I don't know how to do that. Learn. That's spirituality. That's the difference. That's why it's called inner work as opposed to outer work. That's why it's called working on yourself. Christ said, physician, heal thyself. There is work that you can do inside of you that takes less effort. And I'll prove that to you in a moment, less effort and is guaranteed better results than saying, for me to feel okay inside, you have to do something I like. Because there's a lot of you guys out there, 7.5 billion, by the way. And there's lots of different places, and there's lots of different things that can happen. There's lots of different circumstances every moment. How often do they all turn you on and you feel great inside because whatever was in front of you happened just the way you like it? How about almost never? How often do things happen outside that bother you? The car driving in front of you isn't driving the way you want. Somebody didn't use their blinkers. It's raining when you have to get out of the car. Somebody got a stain on your pants. You dropped some ketchup on your pants at lunch. Somebody parked too close to your car, so it's a little hard for you to get the door open. Your car got scratched. Ooh, we got a little scratch, I think. I got a microscope, right? Like, there's not a thing that goes on. It all bothers you. Why is it that so many things can make us feel bad inside? And don't deny that's making you feel bad. You're parked somewhere using your smartphone, and you're sitting in, and all of a sudden the car behind you goes, bam, because the light changed. Just a little, not a bam, just bam. How you doing? I bet you don't feel so good inside. It's a total stranger. You'll never see the person again for the rest of your life. You were the one that was sitting at the light after it changed. And you don't, how do you know you don't feel good? Watch your mind. Oh my God, it was only a second. What's wrong with people nowadays? This is ridiculous. What kind of person is that? Ooh, a little defensive? Anybody knows it gets a little defensive in there? You want to know why it gets defensive? Because you don't like the way it feels. And you're trying to rationalize and talk yourself out of, that wasn't my fault, I didn't do that. Who are you talking to? Hey, do you ever talk to yourself like that? Does it ever go on in your head, I didn't say that, I know I didn't say that. Why is he saying I said that? That's ridiculous, something wrong with him. He probably just doesn't like me. It's like, why are you talking to yourself? You must know what you're going to say. You're the one who's talking. I get into that into the soul, right? Why in the world would you have to go in there and talk to yourself since you're the one who's talking to you? I'm telling you why you're doing it. To try to make yourself feel better. It's not feeling good in there. And you're trying to say things, it's not my fault, it's not my fault, she did that. That's not, what was that all about? You're not even saying it to anybody. You wouldn't dare. You wouldn't dare say 95%, 99% of what goes on inside of there. You would never open your mouth and say it to somebody. So what's going on? What's going on is that everything bothers us. Not traumatic. Some of those are there, right? But everything bothers us. The weather bothers us. Why does it have to be so hot? I like Florida. I don't want it to be there. Who are you talking to? Why are you doing that? There's just this constant dialogue to try to make yourself be okay. I want you to understand why that happens and what to do about it. Why? So you can have a nice life. You can't have a nice life if you're in there bothering yourself. Why? If you're bothering yourself, you will be bothered. If you eat food that makes you sick, you'll be sick. If you are in there bothering yourself all the time, I don't like the weather, this is ridiculous, maybe I should move. No, I can't move, I got the job. Is that nice thought and nice to have that going on, isn't it? Right? God, I wish I hadn't said that. God, it was so embarrassing. You're talking about something that happened 15 years ago. Why would that be going on in there? And how can you have a nice life? That's what the whole purpose of this discussion is how can you have a nice life? How can you have a spiritual life when you are in there bothering yourself? So yes, there are nice states inside, and there are not nice states inside. Now let's talk about how you would normally experience a nice state inside. You experience a nice state inside because something outside of you happens that you like. Something happens that you had decided, I would like this to happen. If that person comes up to me and starts talking to me, oh my God, she's so cute, he's so cute. I would just, oh my God, it would make my day. All right? Okay, what if instead you said, if that person comes up to me, I'll die. Oh my God, he's so weird. Don't come near me. Stay. Let's say you were saying that. Now he comes up. Both cases they come up. How you feeling? And that's the clue. And don't you doubt it. It has nothing to do with the other person. It has to do with the fact that inside your mind, you decided, I would like that to happen. I think that will work out good for me. It starts to happen. Woo! It feels really nice. Or you decided, I don't want that to happen. I would die if that happened. Oh my God. It starts to happen. You freak. So you understand there is a relationship between the outside world and your inner state. You know what that relationship is? You did it. Because that which turns you on turns him off. That which turned you on yesterday turns you off today. It can happen. You learn one more thing, and something that turns you on turns you off. Pay attention to this. This is the quality of your life. Don't you want to have a nice life? You know what it means to have a nice life? What it means to have a nice life is to have a nice life. To be happy inside, to feel love, to feel joy, to feel enthusiasm and excitement. That's what it means to have a nice life. What you mean by the other stuff is, I think if that happened, I would be happy inside. It's called indirection. I think if I got married, I'll feel more comfortable. I'll feel more love. I think if I have children, I'll feel more meaning in life. I think if I succeed at my career, I'm really getting raises and people are complimenting me. It'll be much nicer inside. Maybe, maybe not. Why can't we sit there and say, if I make it nice inside, it will be nice inside? You look at me like I'm weird because you went to school, you went to college, you went to graduate school. No one ever talked to you that you have the ability to do that. You do not have to sell yourself out to manipulate and control the world around you so it happens to line up with what turns you on and never lines up with what gets you depressed and turned off. You got a lot of work to do, don't you? Can we talk about that, why that doesn't work? Every single moment, there's a moment unfolding in front of you. Every single moment, it's a motion picture. What is life? And it's unfolding in front of you. Not one of you ever stopped it. No one has ever stopped it. It's new every single moment. It's just creating the next thing. This is what's going on. The next thing's unfolding. Okay? What is the probability that as it unfolds, it hits you right every time it makes you feel good inside? 0. There's not a chance in the world. The weather's not going to be what you want all the time. Oh, but this is exactly what I want. Just wait. This is going to change. Oh, look what he said to me. Look how he said it. Right? Just wait. Just say something else. Or won't say something else. The moments keep changing. So there is no way that you're going to learn to be okay because the changing moments are always what make you be okay. And you know that. You're not stupid. All right? That's why you go out of your way to choose your battles. Pick which moments you'll try to make be okay. Work on them for 3 years. And then maybe when they happen for 5 minutes, you'll be okay. Well, great. What happened to the rest of it, everything? You can't do it that way. You can't expect the outside world to line up with what it is that you think will turn you on, especially when you change what turns you on and turns you off every minute. Every moment that unfolds in front of you changes how you think about what you want. Every year you grow, you change. It's like it changes, doesn't it? So how in the world are the moments going to line up with this stupid stuff you got going inside that you're just making up and it's changing all the time? And every moment changes what you want. Oh my God, how could it figure out what you want? You can't even figure out what you want. So if you rely on the world outside of you unfolding in a way that turns your inside on and doesn't unfold in a way that turns your inside off, you lose. And that's why everybody's neurotic, and that's why there are all the pills, and that's why everybody's anxious, and that's why there's so much tension, because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to create a world in which you're okay. The trouble is there's a lot of competition, isn't there? A lot of other people have their own idea of what the world should be like. Have you noticed? And so now not only do you have to try to struggle with nature, the rain, the this, the that, you have to struggle with every person you ever meet to be the way you want them to be. And they're not going to be that way, are they? And you wonder why you're not okay. That's why you're not okay. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just the methodology you're using to try to be okay does not work, cannot work, and has never worked. Now, it can work for a moment. I told you. There can be a moment that unfolds that matches what you got going on inside, the preconceived notions of what you think you want or don't want. And all of a sudden, under no question, you feel love. You feel joy. You feel excited. Oh my God, I got the job. I got the job. This is such a perfect job for me. I had 2,300 people working for me once. Many of them, I'm sure, thought when they got hired it was the perfect job, right? Come on, right? You can't please people like that. So you get in a new boss, or this happens, or somebody changes the job that you're doing, or you have to move your desk, or somebody else comes in. It doesn't take much, does it, to turn you off? Because the only way it lasts is if it keeps matching what you got going on inside of you. And there's no way it's going to match what's going on inside of you, and there's no way you're going to manipulate it to match what's going on inside of you. So at some point, somebody's going to get the raise that you thought you deserved. And from then on, you're going to work just because you need the money. Why are you still working there? I can't find another job. I thought you loved your job. I did. For a while. I'm telling you, wake up, okay? There is no possible way that the moments unfolding in front of you are going to match what you want so that it unfolds nicely inside. And there are going to be things that happen that turn you off. So the idea that the purpose of your life makes me want to cry. The idea that the purpose of your life is to attempt to manipulate and control the moments unfolding in front of you so they match whatever it is you decided at the moment you think you need inside. Wow. Talk about compassion. Now that is something you'd have compassion for people doing that because they're going to lose. And the worst part about it is everybody's doing that. And the worst part of it is a society made up of people doing that is going to be the result, the expression of that mess. And it is. So you can talk all day, why are people like this? I know why people are like this, because they do that. Because they make up in their heads what it is they think will turn them on. Now why would you do that? Why would you make up in your head what you think turns you on? Because you're not turned on. If you were turned on, you wouldn't do that. Like when you just fell in love. Somebody said, would you like to meet somebody? You say, no, I'm feeling what I want to feel. I'm feeling love. If you're not feeling what you want to feel, then you make up what you think will make you feel that. That's why you have so much trouble deciding what college you're going to go to, what career you want to do, whether you should get married now or travel around Europe, should you take a gap year. These are impossible decisions because what you're actually saying is which one will make me happy. If you knew that any one of those, God came down in a burning bush and said, if you take a gap year, you will be the most miserable human being for the rest of your life, all right? But if you go to graduate school immediately, your whole career will blossom and you'll meet somebody and you'll be, I wonder which one you'll do. Come on, it's tough for me to figure out. No wonder where I'm at. Do you understand now? Right? I'm not picking on you. It's compassion. It's like, oh, who would want to live like that? It's crazy. You drive yourself crazy. Now, why would I be doing that? Because I'm not okay. If I was okay, I wouldn't be doing that. I'd be having fun with what's unfolding. I'd be enjoying my job, even if somebody else got the raise. Why? Here, now we get to the essence of what I'm talking about. Let's say you enjoy your job. Okay? What does that mean? You enjoy your job means you're not bothering yourself about your job. If you're sitting there all night saying, God, I don't like my job, and I don't know what's going to happen, I don't know if I'll get it, you're not going to enjoy your job. If you're sitting there all night saying, God, I can't wait to get back to work. It was so exciting what I was doing. Wow, this is neat. I want to be there first so that I get to do most of it. Well, you're going to enjoy your job. You're doing it. You can do that about anything, but you can't because you haven't learned to work with yourself. You have to wait for the world to turn you on. You have to wait for a person to show up for you to feel love. You have to wait to have a nice house and a nice car to feel good about yourself. And nice clothes. Clothes make the man. They do not. Your inner state makes you. Your clothes do not make you. But if you wear this fancy clothes and everybody goes, ooh, that must be a Gucci or something. I don't know this. I live in the woods. All right. That must be something. All right. And everybody oohs and ahs about you. That makes your inside feel good. That's why clothes make the man. Because other people look at you with envy or this or that or respect, and you like that. Therefore, it makes you feel good, but that's pretty indirect, right? The clothes and the people have to react. What if you wore the Gucci suit and you went somewhere everyone else was wearing bathing suits and jeans? You were completely out of place. Clothes make the man? Yeah, you'd like slither away and you're embarrassed. It is your inner state that matters. But you won't work on your inner state because nobody told you can. What yoga and all of spirituality is about is you have the right to work directly on your inner state. Why? It's yours. You're the only one in there. There's no competition. It's your inner state. So if you go in there and what you do with your inner state is make it a flaming mess by doing what? I told you by doing what? Oh, I can't believe I said that. Oh my God, that was so stupid. I'm so embarrassed. Maybe I'll move. You can't move. You know you can't move. I wish I could, though. I don't want to ever see him again or something. I'll change my name. I don't know. What in the world are you doing? You're making yourself miserable. Is it true that you make yourself miserable? You make yourself miserable about things that happened 10 years ago. They're not even happening anymore. Oh, maybe if I said that, he wouldn't have left. He left 10 years ago because he's an idiot. Had nothing to do with you. But you're still in there saying that. By the time you let everything that ever bothered you continue to bother you for the rest of your life, and by the time you make up a future that scares the heck out of you, and by the time you complain about everything that's happening, I wonder how you're doing in there. I just covered past, present, and future. And that's what you're going to find out, is that you're not paying attention, that you want a nice inner environment, but you can't possibly have a nice inner environment while you're destroying your inner environment. All right? If you're going to cause yourself trouble, you're going to have trouble. If you're going to cause yourself disturbance, you're going to be filled with disturbance. And don't you dare think somebody's going to show up, in white, shiny armor and solve the problem. You caused it, you got to fix it. And I'm telling you, that is spirituality. Notice I haven't talked about a single technique yet. Why? Because until you understand why you would use a technique, to me, they have no meaning. It's just ridiculous. Just another diet. Just another thing to do. Okay? Another pill to take. Understand you are doing this. You are ruining your life because of what you are doing to yourself inside. Why? How do I know that? Because you're the only one in there. You're the only one in there. When it's raining, you can go, why does it have to rain? It's my birthday. It always rains on my birthday. God, even God doesn't like me. This is ridiculous, all right? I had one day. There was 2 weeks it didn't rain, so I planned my party outside. Now it's pouring rain. What are we going to do? People will hate me. They won't like me. I have the worst party that ever... Is that fun? Gee, I wonder how you feel when that's going on. Well, maybe if it makes you feel bad, notice the rain didn't make you feel bad. You're making you feel bad. Why can't you instead sit there and say, oh my God, this is fun. We're going to get soft. We'll go inside and we'll play slushy floor or something, all right? So it's like, why not have fun? Why not have fun? You have a choice. Let the rain make you miserable or let the rain make you happy and fun. It's completely your choice. You are the only one in there. It is not the rain that is depressing you, that is destroying you. It is what you are doing about the rain that's doing it. It is not when you're in a relationship with somebody and they do something that you don't like. They leave the cap of the toothpaste. They work too late and they didn't call. Lots of things can happen in a relationship. Okay, well, you have a choice. You can ruin the relationship by continuing inside your head, what kind of a person leaves a cap off the toothpaste? If I'd known that, I never would have married him. Go on, do it. You think that doesn't matter? You just ruined your relationship. He did by leaving the cap off the toothpaste. No, you did. You did by doing that about the fact that he left the cap off the toothpaste. You did that by doing that about the fact that he or she came home late for work. You did that. You did that. You did that. You are allowing these things that happen outside to destroy your inner state. It doesn't have to do that. You have the right. You know what I take equivalent I see now is like you're driving down the road and you keep driving off the road. You keep driving off the road and hitting trees and doing things like that. And I checked, what's wrong with you? What kind of a driver are you? And I realized you don't know about the steering wheel. Nobody told you about the steering wheel and those pedals on the floor. And the car's driving, and all of a sudden there's a bank in the road, turns to the right. Well, it doesn't turn. Of course it doesn't turn. There's nobody driving. Inside, you driving? You driving in there? Somebody says something, it starts to get weird. You steer? No, there's nobody driving. Did you know there was a steering wheel in there? There's a steering wheel in there. That's your inner state. You do whatever you want with it, period. So you come down to understanding you have a choice. Allow the outside world to determine how you're feeling inside, or you determine how you're feeling inside. I wonder which one will work out better. It's not lying to yourself. If you're lying to yourself, you say leaving the cap off the toothpaste is a terrible thing. It's fun, right? What if the cap gets left with the toothpaste and you love the person so much, male or female, I don't want to be sexist here, right? Women can leave the cap off the toothpaste too. It's just traditionally the man that does it. So net result is the cap's off the toothpaste, but you love this person so much, watch, just so you don't look at me weird. Your child learned to brush his own teeth. And this is the first time that he went and brushed his own teeth and he left the cap off the toothpaste. You going to yell at him? Come on, I want to see you yell at him. You're going to walk in and say, oh, look at Johnny left the top off. You can put it on, you feel so much love. He brushed his own teeth. Oh, my God. It'd be the biggest honor in the world for you to put that cap on the toothpaste, right or wrong. It increased your love for the child because you're so proud of it, right? Well, why don't you do that for your husband? Oh, look at that Paul. He left the cap off the toothpaste. He worked so hard. You are welcome to do it. You are welcome to do whatever you want. You are the only one in there. It's your mind. It's your heart. It's your inner state. But nobody will talk to you like this. It's so funny. They'll just tell you to try and get it the way that makes you feel good. It's much easier to just feel good. It's like, I guess it's like cheating. You understand that? And it's okay to feel good. Don't feel bad about it. There aren't any laws against it yet. You're allowed to feel good. Don't show it too much. They'll figure something's wrong, right? But you are welcome to change your inner state anytime you want. You haven't learned to do it, and that's why I teach what I teach. I want you to be happy. And don't tell me, yeah, but, my husband and I got divorced 2 years ago, and how can I be happy? You can be happy because you're divorced. Obviously, you weren't very happy, or you wouldn't have got divorced, okay? It wasn't working out good. So now you're divorced. You don't have to deal with that. How can it still be bothering you? It doesn't even make sense. Why'd you bother getting divorced? You get divorced inside? You get divorced outside. You're still having the same arguments. You wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth. Oh, say, I should have said that. What argument's going on? You're saying different things to the guy. Yes or no? Come on, I know what goes on in there. I've watched it for 50 years in here. Okay, they're all the same. They're a mess. So basically, if you have stuff going on inside of you that is bothering you and it's not even happening, how can it be bothering you? Because you haven't learned to drive. Because nobody has sat you down and said, that is your world in there, and you can have it be as nice or not nice as you want. And don't think that some people say that to me, but if it's nice in here, why would I do anything? Can we get that one over with right away? I have to have it feel bad in here so I'm motivated to do things, right? If I don't feel anger, if I don't feel hatred, why will I be motivated to change the world or to do things? All right, let's snip that one at the beginning. That's ridiculous. Ever feel love? Have you ever felt real love? Powerful, tremendous love. Did you want to do anything? You don't want to do anything because you feel love. Of course you want to do something. You want to express the love, don't you? You don't want to be with the person, do you? You feel love. Right? You want to be with the person. You want to go places. You want to do things. You want to paint. You want to play music. You feel love. You want to write poetry. Oh my God, you'll write this beautiful poetry. Romantic, beautiful poetry. Why? Because you feel love. Love wants to express itself. Just like anger. Anger wants to express itself. Prejudice wants to express itself. Hatred wants to express itself, doesn't it? Right? Love wants to express itself too. When love expresses itself, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It raises you and it raises everybody else, doesn't it? But when hatred, fear, and anger express themselves, it destroys you and destroys everybody else. So don't talk to me about motivation, that you're going to lose your motivation because you lost your fear, because you weren't feeling driven. Don't worry. If you feel love, if you feel joy, you'll feel inspiration, you'll feel tremendous drive, but it's very healthy. It's healthy. So basically, the question becomes, why does nobody teach you that if you want to feel good inside, there's something you can do about it by yourself? So it must be antisocial or something. I don't know. All right? Well, I would like to inform you, what you think is feeling good inside, you ain't seen nothing yet. I would like it that every single morning when you wake up, the first thing, think about the first thing that happens in your mind when you wake up. The first thing that comes up inside of you is this sense like a child who's 10 years old and woke up on Christmas morning. Whoa, I'm back. I wonder what's going to happen today. Oh, this is going to be so exciting. All right? And that's what happens to you every single morning. You're filled with Shakti, with joy, with love, excitement, enthusiasm. There's not, oh God, what's going to happen today? Or, oh my God, what did I do yesterday? I hope it's none, zero, nothing like that going on. All that's going on every single morning is this sense of excitement, of joy. You get to have another day on the planet Earth. I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder what it'll be like. Well, how can that happen? Because you don't have preconceived notions about what you need to happen in order for you to be okay. If you say to me, I can only be okay if Sal loves me, you're dead. Why? Because you just said so. You said there's 800 million things that could happen today, but only one will make me happy. And I think it's hilarious. You think that's romantic. That's not romantic. That's absurd. I'd rather have you wake up in the morning and say, I wonder what's going to happen today. Wouldn't it be fun? Now you have a chance. But if you wake up and you say, the only time I'm going to be okay if this happens, or I'll die if that happens, you have already doomed yourself to fighting with everything in front of you, so such and such happens and such doesn't happen. Then you wonder why you have tension and anxiety and fears and insecurities. That's why. You built a psyche built on something that's absurd. So basically you decide that what I would like to do is I would like to be happy. That's what I'd like to do. Not I'd like to be married, not I'd like to have children, not I'd like everyone to respect me, not I want to see my name in lights, not I want to be a billionaire, not I want to have a career where everybody looks up to me and people report to me. No, because every one of those is an attempt to feel good inside. When I said them, you feel kind of exciting, wasn't it? Because you think it'll make you feel good inside. Doesn't always do so, I'll clue you in. But the net result is, instead of saying these are the things that need to happen for me to be okay, and these are things that better not happen or I won't be okay, why don't you just come in here and say, I want to feel okay. I want to feel okay. And then you start, that's my technique, you start to do the work of feeling okay. How do you do that? Can we now go there? Because I'm telling you, you're capable of raising yourself. You are capable of raising yourself, not immediately into some ecstatic state, but you didn't get your job and get where you wanted to get right away. Your marriage didn't work out perfect. You didn't have the kids immediately and they grew up and went to Harvard. You didn't start playing the piano and then all of a sudden be in Carnegie Hall. There's work to be done. It's a gradual process. But every single bit that you do to raise yourself inside is there forever. Versus the fact that you got the job and then got fired or somebody else got a better job. That's not there forever. So you learn to work with yourself. How do you work with yourself? You start this way. I'm in here. Check. I have different vibrations that can go on inside of me. Check. I like them when they're higher. Good. Then I'm not going to do things that make them lower. This is the food that makes me sick. I'm not going to eat it. I don't know what food's going to make me perfect, but I know that food makes me sick. That's all you got to do. That's one way to do your diet. Don't eat the things that make you sick. That's a good starting point, isn't it? Okay, you don't have to go, this kind of diet, that kind of diet. Just stop eating the things that you know make you sick. That's a good starting point because I'll clue you in. If you can't stop eating things that make you sick, you'll never stay on the other diet. You don't have enough discipline. You don't have willpower. You don't have enough clarity. But if you know this makes me sick, stop eating it. How hard can that be? Because I'm telling you, that's a bottom line. And we're going to talk about that. This is tough talk. If you can't do what you decided you want to do, how are you going to do what somebody else told you to do? It's not going to happen. You'll find something wrong with that person. You won't do it. I heard they lied to so-and-so. I don't have to do what they told me to do. Oh, look, they gained a pound. How can they be telling me how to lose it? In other words, you don't really want to do it. So it's not hard to find something wrong with the person that told you to do what you don't want to do. Have you noticed? But if you decide for yourself, this food makes me sick. Every time I eat, how do you know? Because every time I eat, I get a stomach ache. This is it. This food makes me gain weight. How do you know that? Well, I got a scale and the food, and there's a very, very high relationship, 1-to-1 correlation. And if you decide you want to do something about it, not I decide, I didn't tell you to, but if you decide you want to do something about it, I have to get you to the point where you have enough control, it's called self-control, willpower, call it whatever you want, we have enough control inside to where you get to do something about that which you know you want to do. I don't know how else to say it. Well, how do you do that? How do you develop that? By doing it. How do you stop smoking? Stop putting cigarettes in your mouth. That's my cheap way of stopping smoking. It doesn't cost any money, no therapy, no patches. I found out there is a 100% correlation to people who stop putting cigarettes in their mouth to those who stop smoking. You can't tell me you're not capable of stopping smoking. Why? Because you're the one who's doing it. I understand if I tell you to go pick up 500 pounds, you say, well, I'm not capable of that. I'm not telling you to do something. I'm telling you to not do something. You can't be capable of not doing something. You're the one who's doing it. Here, there's an urge to pick up the cigarette. In order to pick up the cigarette, you have to move your arm, find the pack, open it, pull the cigarette out, stick it in that hole in your face, and light it without burning yourself, and inhale. You have to do all those things You did those willfully. Just don't do one of them and you'll stop smoking. It's really not so complicated. So you get to the point where you realize, I'm in here and I'm doing things that harm myself. You are harming yourself inside. You are causing yourself trouble. You are causing yourself disturbance, discomfort, and then you wonder why you're not comfortable. As stupid as it sounds, you're in there constantly causing yourself discomfort and disturbance, and then trying for the world to somehow offset the disturbance you created yourself. So I told you, it's really very simple. The starting point for being okay is stop bothering yourself. Here, I've been using this lately. It's not nice. You're flogging yourself. Why? I don't know why you would flog yourself, but people have been known to flog themselves. So you became a flogger, all right? And you're sitting there flogging yourself, right? And you go to the doctor constantly and say, oh, my back is killing me. I don't know. I don't understand what's going on. And the doctor says to you, you have these marks on your back. Are you flogging yourself? Yeah. Well, maybe you should stop flogging yourself. No, I need to meet somebody. When I met somebody when I was younger, I stopped flogging myself. I saw that. So I need to meet somebody. That's what needs to happen. That's what it sounds like, that you're in there bothering yourself about everything, and then you're saying, I need to meet somebody. I need someone to love me. I need something to happen. No. Stop flogging yourself. I'm not saying you won't meet somebody. All kinds of things can happen, but nothing good's going to happen while you are in there disturbing yourself. You are not going to not be disturbed. Other than for a moment, something might distract you from disturbing yourself. Oh, the sunset is so gorgeous. Oh my God, it just caught my attention completely. I felt I was in the presence of God. It was so spiritual. And then it set, and I started thinking about the mortgage again and things. Or why can't I have a house near a sunset like that? I don't ever get anything. That's what you did with the sunset. Oh, isn't she cute? If you don't work on stopping bothering yourself, there's not a chance you will not be bothered, because you're the person that's in there, and if you're in there flogging yourself, you're going to have trouble. So, first, are you clear what I mean by bothering yourself? I have 3 categories. What are the 3 categories that I use to explain why you're flogging yourself, how you're disturbing yourself for absolutely no reason? First, do you ever disturb yourself about the past? There's no reason. It's over. That's the silliest disturbance I ever heard of. Whatever happened to the past is not happening anymore. That's why it's in the past. The fact that your parents got divorced when you were 4 and you're 44 can't be disturbing you. When it happened, you were innocent. It's what happened. It was uncomfortable. I'm not denying that. Okay? But it's not happening anymore. So I can blame your parents, if you want me to, about what happened 40 years ago, but I got to blame you for the next 40 years. Because they didn't do it. That's how I want you to think about it. Take some ownership. In the 80s, they used the word empowerment. I'm empowering you. It's not true that what happened to your parents 40 years ago should be affecting you now. What's happening is you couldn't handle it then, you can't handle it now, so you're bothering yourself about it. Why is that person flogging themselves? Because they're very disturbed, and this is how it expresses itself. You are disturbed still about what happened 40 years ago. It sounds stupid to talk about, doesn't it? But you're disturbed. You're disturbed by things that aren't happening. So I told you there's 3 big areas. That's one of them, the past. I need you to start. You won't be able to do it right away. Don't worry about it. I need you to start by admitting that it does not make any sense to be bothered by what isn't happening. That's your starting position. You got to be straight with yourself. Why are you bothering yourself about something? To me, that's flogging yourself, isn't it? That you're in there bothering yourself about something that's not even happening. It's something you're causing disturbance for yourself. Don't worry about the disturbance other people cause you. That's nothing compared to the disturbance you cause yourself. Somebody walks up to you and says something mean to you. They just had a bad day, and bam, they just say something mean to you. It took 15 seconds for them to say the mean to you. How long you bother yourself about it? 15 years. You'd walk across the street to not see that person again. So it happened for 15 seconds, and you're going to bother yourself about it for days or years or whatever it is. You have to sit there and look at that and say, that's absurd, and understand that you will never be okay while you're doing that. I don't care who you marry. I don't care what job you have. I don't care how much money you have in the bank. If you're doing that to yourself, if you're flogging yourself, I don't care who you marry. I don't care how much money you have in the bank or what job you have. You're not going to be okay, are you? Well, you're not going to be okay if you're in there doing yourself that. No one's going to fix that for you. No one can love you enough to make that okay. Here, I'm talking straight to you. No one you're going to meet is just so loving and so beautiful that if you continue in there doing that to yourself, that it makes it okay. You have to stop doing that. You're doing it to yourself. And so how do you stop doing it? So there's one area, this area of the past. My starting position is I need you to admit that it makes no sense. There's no super glue in there. What happened to you when you were 4 years old is in there because you're keeping it in there. There's no fly paper, there's no super glue or anything like that. It's just empty space in there. An event happens, you experience it, it passes. Just like white lines on the road. You don't bother yourself about the white lines on the road, do you? They come and they go. Experiences come and go. If you can't handle them, this is the core of my talk, here's your technique. Ready? If you can't handle that it happened, what does that mean? It came in and it made me feel disturbed. Yes, it does. I told you there's alpha to omega in there. So an event actually happened and it actually caused a disturbance inside. I'm not denying that, and I don't mind that. Into every life some rain must fall. Things happen, and when they come in, they don't feel good. Okay, fine. But if it doesn't feel good for a minute, that's one thing. If it doesn't feel good for the rest of your life, even though it's not happening anymore, that's something else altogether. Which would you rather have? Here, you have a 6-year-old child. He has to go get a shot. How long does the shot hurt? I understand it hurts when it goes in the skin, for what, 2 seconds? You can cry right then. It's okay. You're a little child. I understand. Mommy, it hurts. Okay, good. It's over. Right? No, that's not what happens. I don't want to get a shot. 3 months before. I don't want to get a shot. I don't know. No. Crying for 3 months. There's nothing happening. Afterwards, don't do it again. I don't want to get a shot again. If you love me, you'll get it for 3 months afterwards. Now, for 6 months, you screwed up your entire life for something that hurts for 2 seconds. I wonder which one makes more sense. To accept the pain that lasts 2 seconds and get it over with and just say, all right, sometimes things hurt. As opposed to resisting and opposing and freaking out about the whole stupid thing for 3 months before and 3 months after. That's what spirituality is. That's what Be Here Now is. That's what mindfulness is. That's the bottom line. An event takes place. It is disturbing. Yes. Don't deny that. Don't suppress it. It's disturbing. I guarantee it won't last. Nothing lasts. Nothing lasts. It all comes and goes. There's not a single electron that's in the same place from one moment to the next. Not a single atom. Everything comes and goes in its own time. All right? So when it's in front of you and it's disturbing, we'll learn to deal with a certain amount of disturbance. When it is no longer in front of you, I don't want it inside of you. It's that simple. If you keep it inside of you, you did that. You did that by using your will, the same will you use to try to manipulate the world to make it be the way you want. You use that will to push away the experience so you don't have to experience it. And you don't understand the act of pushing it away makes it stay inside of you. There, that's the bottom line. So it's the technique. Don't do that. That's the highest technique you'll ever be taught. Now, you'll have to meditate and do mantra and do all kinds of things, turn japa beads and chant in order to not do that. You don't really have to. Or you can just learn to not do that. Not do what? Resist reality. That's a losing game. I don't want him to have said that to me. That's such a nice sentence. Can we break it down? I don't want him to have said that to me. He obviously said it, or you wouldn't be not wanting it. You can't make him not have said it. It actually happened. I don't want him to have said that to me. That sounds so innocent, doesn't it? I want to flip the coin and have both heads and tails. It ain't going to happen. He's not going to not have said that to you. You have to handle it. Doesn't mean you can't say something about it. Doesn't mean you can't work with him to not do it again. I'm not taking it away from you. But I'm telling you, it actually happened. And if you can't handle that it happened, you're going to suppress it. You're going to sit inside and push it away, deny it, rationalize it, hate it. You'll just shove it down away from you, and it will stay there, and it will bother you for the rest of your life. Period. It'll come up in your dreams. It'll come up when somebody says something. It'll come up when you hear the person's name, even if it's not that person. It's just you got this stuff inside of you. How much of those you got? How many things have you done that with? That's why it's a mess in there. I'm giving you a condensed version. That's why there's so much disturbance inside. Because you stored every disturbance that ever happened to you inside of you. And it's still there. What happens if you store disturbance inside of you? You get to be disturbed. Go pour water in your house. Guess what happens? The house gets wet. Right? If you store disturbance inside of you, you're going to be disturbed. And you have stored every single thing that ever bothered you inside of you because no one taught you otherwise. You thought the way to get rid of it is to push it away, not deal with it, blah, blah, whatever the heck it is. That's why mommy and daddy's divorce when you were 4 is still inside of you, and every psychologist agrees. Well, what if the child was mature enough to sit there and say, yeah, well, they got divorced. I get to have 2 fathers. This is going to be fun. That's not in there. What if you got a car accident and it was a little disturbing and it was hard and one person never gets in a car again and never drives again and never does anything? What if your grandparents watched a story of a plane crash on TV and now they won't fly to see their grandchildren? They didn't even get in an accident themselves. The fact of the matter is, when you drive your car, the probability of an accident is hundreds and hundreds of times beyond a plane. It doesn't matter. You put that impression in there, it screws up your life, doesn't it? So you learn to not do that. That's the highest technique. You learn that when an event unfolds inside, it comes in, it's not comfortable. I don't care if it's a tiny thing, like somebody beeping at you. I like to start with the small things. Somebody beeps at you with the light. Okay, good. This is where you practice that technique. It wasn't comfortable. I felt embarrassed. All kinds of stuff went on inside. Can you handle that moment of discomfort enough to say, I don't want to carry this with me? So what do? You relax. You just relax. You say, okay, he beeped. There it is. He beeped. That's the cost of not having it inside. Okay, my parents got divorced. You can talk about it. Aren't you healthy? You can talk about it. Some people can't talk about it. You understand that? When they hear the word divorce, they start getting weird. You want to be like that? Because you're not going to be okay if you're like that. So now there's the technique. Let it go. That's the technique. Let it go. Every single thing that happens, if it causes a disturbance, relax, learn. At first you won't be able to do it. Relax and learn that I don't want this inside of me. Well, if you don't want it inside of me, don't hold it inside of you. If you don't want to be hurt on your back, stop flogging yourself. Because it's the same thing. If you're going to collect disturbances, you're going to be disturbed. And I'm telling you, you don't have to do it. So you just keep relaxing and releasing. Start with little things. The rain, the person in front of you, the way they drive, the dinner not being exactly the way you wanted it. Oh my God, we complain so much, it's ridiculous. Then you wonder why we're not okay. So you start working with yourself. You can use positive thinking. Some people teach that. That's a technique where somebody comes, they serve you an amount of food, it's much less than what you thought it would, and all of a sudden it starts to complain. You just, God, that's great. Somebody knows I'm supposed to be on a diet. All right? Just make it nice. Make it nice. Make what nice? Everything. Why? Because the alternative is for it to be not nice, and then it's going to screw up the rest of your life. You can do that. Then you can do positive thinking. You can do what we call mantra, which is teach your mind to say something over and over again until it becomes a habit. You know, hey, get a song stuck in your head. Get this thing stuck in your head. It's going on behind. Nice, neutral thing. Then what happens when the mind starts complaining or carrying on? Do that instead. Just shift your consciousness to this, you know, Om Namah Shivaya, Guru Om, whatever it is, right? So, and then you learn to put yourself there. And you choose that. So now I have a choice. Do I want to be disturbed or not? I have my hands on the steering wheel. Do you understand that? Do I want it to be disturbed or not? But what he did was terrible. Do I want to be disturbed or not? Somebody, a nice lady came up to me after services yesterday and said, what if somebody does something that's really terrible? I mean, really terrible. Terrible. How can you feel love for them? How can you open your heart? Can you keep your heart open? Ultimate thing that finally got through to her was as follows. Somebody did something really, really terrible, and I mean really terrible, just really terrible, and you saved $1 million for your retirement. But they did something really, really terrible. Would you go to the bank, take out the $1 million in cash, drive down the street, and throw it out the window? She looked at me like she didn't understand why I was saying that. Well, of course I wouldn't do that. Well, your heart open and the love you feel with your heart open is way more precious than the money. The heart's a precious thing. If your heart is open, you're inspired and turned on, you got no problems. The money, you hope, would do that. So if you wouldn't throw the money away, why would you throw your heart away? Because that's what you're doing. You're saying, because what that person did, I'm going to screw up my life. No. First, handle it. Handle it. It's what happened. I don't care how terrible it is. It's terrible. Yes, I admit it's terrible. People do terrible, 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 terrible things. He did a terrible thing. Start flogging yourself. You're not going to do that. Closing your heart is worse than flogging yourself. It means you can't feel love. It means you can't feel inspired. It means you can't enjoy your food. You can't enjoy your husband. You can't enjoy your children because your heart is closed. Stop thinking that way. You start doing the inner work. You sit there and say, I'm going to create something beautiful inside of me, out of me. And I'll share it with people. There, that's my gift to the world and my gift to me. I'll buy myself a present. What? Happiness, love, incitement, enthusiasm, well-being. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share that present with everybody. Well, that's a nice thing to do. Well, then when something happens and your psyche says, oh my God, I'm going to destroy myself over what he did. I hope it doesn't make sense to you, because it doesn't make any sense. No, you handle what happened. How? You let it go. You would process it, you let it go, it feels yicky, you go through the yicky, and you don't keep it inside of you. And then if you can help this person, because you managed to keep yourself open, fine. If you can't, fine. Nobody's saying what you're going to do. But how dare you let it destroy you because of what he did? It doesn't even make sense. There was already one bad thing that happened in the world, what he did. Now you're going to have a second bad thing happen, what you do to yourself about what he did. Right? That's called driving inside. You're being rational. You're not running into walls. You're not doing stupid things. Now, do you understand what working with yourself means? Letting go. Things happen, they're disturbing. Learn to relax. Just keep relaxing. Do it with small things first, so you build up your tolerance. And then each time ask yourself, do I want to close over this? And what happens is, when you go through a few years of living like this, and you process a few things that were difficult, it was sort of like you invested in your well-being, and you won't be so fast to throw it away. You hear me? Somebody will do something, your mind will say, oh my God, it's terrible. He'll be sorry. You'll take one look at that and say, hey man, it's been 2 years letting go of stuff. That was hard. I ain't giving in now. I ain't giving up now. I made an investment in this thing. And eventually you will reach the point where I want you, where you say, I will not close. I will not close. I will not flog myself. I will not throw my $1 million out the window because what somebody else did. I will be healthy. Just like you would eat reasonable, I would process stuff inside. I will let go. So I said, I'm going to close down. I said there were 3 things. One is the past. The past should not be bothering you. I'm sorry. I don't care what psychology says. The past should not be bothering you. Why? Because it's not happening anymore. It should make perfect sense to you. If it's still bothering you, you did it. Because there's nothing else doing it. I don't care how bad it was. If it's still bothering you and it's not happening, you're doing it. The second one's the future. Huh? What do you mean? There are actually people that are bothered about the future. Did you know that? Well, what if this doesn't happen? What if I grow up and I have kids and they put me in a home? I don't want to go to a home. You're 12 years old. Why are you doing that? Why are you thinking like that? All right? So all of a sudden, the future is bothering you. Here's my discussion about the future. Newsflash, the future hasn't happened yet. Therefore, if you have a future, you made it up. It's something you made up in your mind. Why would you not make up a nice one? There you are flogging yourself again. You get to make up any future you want because it hasn't even happened yet. So why don't you just think nice things about the future? It doesn't mean you can't plan, but plan nice things. It's going to be nice. I'm going to do well. It's going to be fun. At least start that way. The future's going to be great. I can't wait for it to unfold. I'll have so much fun with it. And I will have grown so much because I'm growing every day. My God, my future is bright. It doesn't matter what the job is or the relationship is. You got a beautiful future because you're making a beautiful house for yourself inside. But you don't. You think these terrible things about the future. And so you're making up a bad future and it's scaring you. And you're getting neurotic and freaking out what to do about it. What to do about what? The bad future I made up. Am I making sense to you? No one will talk like this, all right? They say, think up a future and then make it happen. Think up a nice future and be open and be filled with love and joy and excitement. And wait till you see what the future turns out to be. It'll turn out to be what's going on inside of you. You understand that? You project yourself outside. Every conversation you have with everybody, everything you do, right? Go in to have a job interview and be scared of not getting the job and know that you need it so bad and you know they won't give it to you. Oh my God, why am I even bothering? Let's see how good you do at the interview. Go into an interview filled with excitement. I get to have this interview. I get to meet this HR person of a big company. This is going to be so exciting, right? And I can't wait. If I got this job, I have so many exciting things. Now see whether you get the job. See the difference? You project yourself with every word you say, with the energy coming off of you, with the way your eyes glow, with the way every single thing is projecting yourself. You're making your future as you project yourself outside. Make something nice inside. You know, this, I haven't said the word God once, and this is supposed to be a temple, all right? And I talked about spiritual, right? The Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you. In other words, physician, heal thyself. Do your work inside. The rest will take care of itself. So basically, that was the past, that's the future, and then the present is unfolding in front of you. Stop complaining about it. Stop using the situations of the present to express the garbage you stored inside yourself, which someday you're going to find out is exactly what you're doing. So instead, use positive thinking, use mantra. I teach the highest technique, and it is the highest technique. When something unfolds, relax. What? Relax. Somebody says something mean to you, relax. What? Relax. Handle it first, then deal with it. Because if you can't handle it, you can't deal with it. Because you're too busy not handling it. You're busy freaking out inside. Then you can't deal with it. You have to deal with yourself. Handle it first. Relax. Just relax and lean away from the disturbance inside. Like I say, you can do mantra, you can positive, whatever, but ultimately, relax and release. Then deal with what's left in front of you. You're going to find out that works better than anything in the whole world. Plus, you didn't store the stuff inside of you. So this is how you work with yourself. Have I gotten through? It's real, isn't it? This is real stuff. This isn't like some magic pill or some magic mantra or some magic trip somewhere and you'll be so happy. This is just basically, I'm calling you on the carpet, right? If you're in there screwing yourself up, don't you dare think something's going to happen to make it okay. You stop screwing yourself up. You do this work on yourself. Learn how to deal with yourself better. And you're going to find out that the whole world is beautiful. It's not perfect, but it's beautiful. It's an amazing events are unfolding in front of you. And if they don't hit your stuff, you get to help. You get to deal with them. You get to have excitement with your whole life. All right. So I started off by saying that the spiritual path is very simple. That's how simple it is. And I also said that it's not about the techniques. The techniques are not the path itself. The techniques are things you use because you need some help to work with yourself. You need some techniques, some methodologies, so you can learn to let go of things. That's fine. They're all fine. People say to me, well, which one's best? The one that you do. That's the one that's best, right? The one that you're willing to do, the one that you work with and stay with. It'll all take you there, but never forget this talk. The entire purpose of this is for you to stop saying the outside world is going to make me be okay if it's a certain way. That's ridiculous. You have to sit there and say, I'm the one who's screwing myself up. When I stop screwing myself up, things will be fine. And that is an absolute truth. Jai Gurudev.